One single ultrasound file, bearing Erika Kirk's maiden name, should have been a minor clerical detail. But after Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna publicly slipped, then scrambled to contain the fallout, hundreds of users were blocked overnight. What are they desperately trying to hide, and why does the evidence point to an operation bigger than a personal tragedy? This is where the official story begins to unravel. Within hours of Anna Paulina Luna's podcast remark, a pattern emerged across social media accounts linked to the story. Hundreds of users reported being blocked by Luna's official profiles, with timestamps showing entire clusters of accounts restricted in rapid succession. Analytics tools tracking follower interactions registered a sudden drop in engagement, coinciding precisely with the viral spread of the podcast clip. The volume and speed of these blocks far exceeded Luna's previous moderation activity, pointing to a coordinated response rather than routine account management. Publicly available data from X and Instagram reveals that the blocking wave began less than 2 hours after the podcast episode was released. Lists of blocked users circulated among independent researchers, many of whom had simply reposted the original clip or questioned Luna's phrasing. Attempts to access Luna's posts or tag her in follow-up threads were met with immediate access denial, halting further discussion in real time. No public statement explained the mass blocking. Instead, Luna's team maintained silence as blocked users compiled evidence of the coordinated effort. The abrupt shift in digital engagement left a measurable footprint, with analytics dashboards recording a sharp decline in comment threads and cross-posted discussions. This was not a case of isolated moderation or reflexive self-protection. The scale, timing, and selectivity of the blocking campaign suggest a deliberate strategy to contain the narrative before it could gain broader traction. The data points to a decision made at the highest level of account control, executed with precision and speed uncommon in standard crisis management. The question is no longer whether suppression occurred, but what compelled such a sweeping digital lockdown. Anna Paulina Luna's public record offers a window into her methods long before her congressional career. Official biographies highlight her military service and conservative activism, but less publicized are her early jobs, including a stint at the Red Rose Gentlemen's Club in Florida. This background, often omitted from campaign materials, hints at a career shaped by adaptability and calculated self-presentation. Luna's own words reveal a keen awareness of proximity and access. On the PBD podcast, she said she was just with her at the White House, positioning herself as not just a political ally, but as someone close enough to Erika Kirk to speak with authority. This is not casual name-dropping, it is a signal of embeddedness within influential networks, granting her both insight and leverage. Her messaging style follows a recognizable pattern. When pressed on sensitive topics, Luna redirects scrutiny with precision. During discussions of high-profile investigations such as the Epstein files, she steers conversation away from domestic involvement, emphasizing threats from foreign adversaries instead. This linguistic maneuver sidesteps direct accountability while projecting vigilance, a tactic that recurs in her public statements. Taken together, Luna's employment history, her claims of White House access, and her strategic phrasing form a profile of someone skilled in both managing appearances and controlling narratives. The pattern is not one of accidental missteps, but of deliberate communication calibrated for maximum effect. These behaviors, visible across multiple contexts, establish a foundation for understanding the operational mindset that surfaces in later, more technical anomalies. Hospital records in the United States follow strict administrative protocols. When a patient registers for a procedure like an ultrasound, the system pulls their legal name directly from the intake forms. This is a core requirement for billing, insurance, and compliance with federal privacy laws, not a casual detail. In the case of Erika Kirk, the ultrasound video at the center of scrutiny shows the patient name Erika Franve, her maiden name, on the patient label. By public accounts, Erika married Charlie Kirk in May 2021 and adopted his surname. For a medical document generated well after that date to still use her maiden name is not consistent with standard hospital workflows. Radiology imaging systems built on DICOM standards are designed to match the legal identity on record. Any mismatch between marital status and patient label is typically flagged in audit trails, and that requires either a manual override or outdated registration data, both of which demand explanation. This is not a minor clerical slip. It raises questions about the integrity of the documentation. Without access to the original DICOM file header and hospital registration logs, the full chain of custody remains out of reach. The presence of a maiden name where a married name should appear stands as a significant administrative anomaly. A single photograph, dated September 9, 2025, was sent directly to Andrew Kolvek, Turning Point USA spokesman, as part of Erika Kirk's public alibi. In the image, a young boy stands at Erika's side. Official records state her son was born in May 2024, making him just 16 months old at the time. Yet, developmental benchmarks point to a different conclusion. The child's proportions, posture, and facial features match a preschooler, closer to 3 or even 4 years old. At 16 months, most children still have a rounded face, short limbs, and a distinctive toddler stance. The boy in this image appears taller, with longer limbs and a gait that suggests more advanced mobility. Pediatric growth charts support the visual math. A typical 16-month-old stands about 30 inches tall, while a 3-year-old approaches 40 inches. The gap is not subtle. Without access to the original file's EXIF data or a verified chain of custody, questions linger about the image's origin, but the age discrepancy is unmistakable. The optics reinforce a growing pattern. Appearance is crafted to fit a narrative, even when the numbers refuse to cooperate. Across every major platform, the digital record shows a striking absence. Not a single pregnancy photo from Erika Kirk, despite 2 reported pregnancies. Her social media timeline, usually active and carefully curated, offers no visual trace of a growing belly, no ultrasound selfies, and no hospital snapshots during the months when such updates are common. Instead, the first public signs of motherhood appear only after each child's birth, with newborn images and positive test results posted retroactively. When pressed about this gap, Erika explained that her pregnancies were sacred and very private. Yet this claim stands at odds with her willingness to share intimate details later, including a video of her ultrasound and celebratory birth announcements. In interviews, Erika described her C-sections in language that caught the attention of both mothers and medical professionals, asking, "How many more times does Charlie need to see my organs?" The phrasing, clinical and detached, deviates from the way most women discuss surgical birth, which usually focuses on recovery, scars, or the emotional aftermath. For many listeners, that wording sounded unfamiliar and scripted. Her public statements about family plans also resist easy reconciliation. Early on, Erika expressed hesitation about a 3rd child, citing the toll of repeat surgery. Later, she claimed she and Charlie always wanted 4 children, and that she prayed to be pregnant after his death. These shifts, layered atop the missing documentation, form a pattern that demands closer scrutiny. 2 possible explanations surface when we map the available evidence onto standard patterns of operational risk. In the first scenario, Charlie Kirk understood the arrangement from the outset. The marriage was constructed, children were presented for public image, and messaging was coordinated by close associates. In that version, Charlie functions as a willing asset who benefited from the narrative until the risks of exposure outweighed the rewards. In the alternative scenario, he entered the relationship unaware of the fabrication and became a liability only when inconsistencies threatened to unravel the script. Evidence differs between the two. With a willing participant, digital footprints tend to show coordinated messaging and rehearsed public appearances. If he was deceived, communication logs and public statements more often show confusion, abrupt withdrawal, or inconsistent details. Both scenarios leave distinct trails, either a controlled narrative maintained until a sudden rupture, or a pattern of escalation as the asset becomes unpredictable. That distinction frames the next layer of inquiry. What evidence supports each version, and who stands to gain from maintaining the illusion? The most persistent anomaly runs through every available image and timeline. The children's faces are rarely visible and their appearances are carefully staged. Each public photo either obscures identifying features or presents the children in ways that make age verification impossible. The gaps in the timeline, missing pregnancy documentation, no birth announcements, and the absence of routine family milestones compound the uncertainty. When questions arise, the response shifts from silence to redirection, as if the ambiguity itself is a safeguard. This pattern aligns with a diversion tactic. By keeping the children's identities and ages ambiguous, scrutiny is deflected away from the core issue of parentage. The hypothesis of rental children, while extraordinary, accounts for the consistent concealment and the lack of verifiable records. In this framework, every unanswered question becomes a shield, and the narrative's inconsistencies function as intentional misdirection rather than oversight. In an era where digital evidence can be manufactured as easily as it can expose, the line between fact and fiction grows razor thin. Today, narrative control isn't just strategy, it's survival. The real cost? Public trust, eroded one unanswered question at a time. What's your verdict? Let's hear it below.